Good morning, and welcome back to another episode on the Coin Kings channel. I am your host, Down to Crypto TA. We did some pumping over the weekend. I can't wait for markets to open so I can see. It's not about the pump because we were expecting to get a pump. We kept talking about the daily time frame and the fact that the daily time frame was turning up. Sorry. We kept talking about the daily time frame showing us a sign that we were going to turn back up. So that's what we kept talking about here on the channel. But the fact that it happened over the weekend, I can see a lot of volume coming in on the lower time frames, just not on the higher time frames. So um, I'm questioning the RSI a little bit in terms of the relative strength and the volume from the daily time frame. But the move itself was something that we anticipated. Now, I do want to recap on Friday. Friday there was a short setup. It did not play out fully. It was actually this short setup right here that we talked about, and it was a really great entry right there. And I explained that I entered this trade twice. I didn't get stopped out on this one right here. I didn't have my stop loss set for my break even. So I didn't get stopped out right there. And I took the remaining profit and I flipped long. So I am in a long position, but I waited to take it because I kept saying to you on Friday, I said at some point I'm going to have to take a long because we're staying in the same area. And the longer we stay here, then we're just gonna break out instead. And of course, that's what happened. So I took the long from here. Actually, let me turn off the noise there. This is the long entry right here that I took right here. And I'm still holding. I posted it. I took some partial profits out of it. I still have the rest of it open. So I'm doing okay on that because I explained to you that the initial long that we took from I think it was this low right here. Yeah, the initial loan that we took from that low over there, I closed it out really early, so I didn't have a long position anymore. All right, so this here, now let me put this back on this Binance chart. We really look good. I'm not lying. We really, really look good. And the next target to the upside is going to be either here or here. So that's going to be the next target to the upside based on the daily time frame. I'm just trying to figure out right now how much of a deviation are we going to get in this area. I did my standard. It's not even a deviation. I did my standard uh, percentile for a sweep on here, but if we start to close candles above on that daily time frame, then I have something else in mind, so I'm gonna map that out in just a bit. But this would be the next target to the upside. This will probably stop me out, and at this point, I am looking to short. Like I said, I don't know about the weekend thing. I know we have a CME gap, but that CME gap is off the table right now. I don't see the CME gap as something that we immediately go back and fill in. So please don't get your hopes up on that CME gap. Not right now. It just doesn't look promising. Um, I am looking at some stuff in here for another long setup if we get it. But right now, um, and I'm just looking at the 1 hour time frame for this in here. Let's push over to the 1 hour time frame. Let's turn all of this off. So we can turn that back on there. We are diverging a little bit, and then we could be diverging because we're in a wave 5. So that could be why we're doing this bearish shift because the chart looks really strong. I saw it. I saw the setup coming in. Again, I did see the setup coming in for the continuation. Um, even from the daily time frame also, for what we were looking at on the daily and then the 4 hour, it didn't turn over the way I wanted it to turn over, um, 'cause I'm used to seeing it look a certain way when it happens, and it didn't give me that same characteristic, but, it is what it is. Doesn't always look the same, um, but, um, and you'll see this move around on my chart a little bit as we continue to move around. So, like I said, I'm using the 1 hour to determine where we might, um, correct to if we get the correction and when we get the correction, because we are still again, and I was like, this is something you do when you're in a bull market. This isn't something you do when you're in a bearish environment. You're not doing 80. We had a 90 RSI yesterday, a 90 RSI yesterday on the 15-minute time frame. Concerning. That's concerning for me. And right now, you can see how high we are still. I mean, relative strength. Not concerned about being overbought or oversold or anything like that, but relative strength-wise, it's just not built for a bear market. Forgive me, I am a little under the weather too. A little bit. Right. So, this didn't happen, but we are back at this ascending trend line through here, kinda pushing through that. Depends on how I draw it out, to be honest with you, 'cause I can change how I have it drawn out, and we'd probably just be tapping it. So I'm gonna move it. We'll turn that off, and I'm gonna move it to fit my narrative. I'm gonna do it like this and like this here, and that's our little rejection right now. Um, let me see what I have in here on my 4 hour. Hmm, yeah, this up here. That is up there. Besides this little resistance right here, this would be next for us. So, yep. I mean, we're looking pretty good. Take a look down here. Again, another RSI that um, states that we're relatively strong. Initially, I was looking at this top over here, but you can see that price is beyond that point, so that didn't matter. Um, I can't look at this because this is low, so I'm basically looking at this over here, which is this top over here. Uh, I don't see where um, yeah, I mean, it's clear support down to here. Let me move this so you can see we have good support down through here. So we'd just be expecting a little bit of a pullback at some point and then a continuation to the upside. So yeah, 72,000 would be next target on the table for Bitcoin. Just a little correction and then continuation up. If we manage to get um, if we manage to get a RSI reversion to here, then I don't think it's going to happen. That at the current at current, conditions, it will be about 67, 67, 735, we'll say 67, 735. Which I don't know that that's, I don't know that we would do that. 67, 735 would be coming back to these highs in here, looking to hold that as support, and then continue up from there if we were to get it, in current state. I'll see how that changes in an hour or so. Um, but that's what it would be right now. We'd be looking for price to come back and hold these highs in here. I don't know if we have a fib level that lines up with that. I'm just gonna draw it from there to here, and we actually do have a fib that lines up with what I'm talking about. So we'll see. I don't know about it, but we'll see if they send markets back down a little bit because of any of this, and we just managed to hold through here, right here, and that's what our target would be, that golden pocket. So we'll there for continuation to the upside and push forward. Take a look at the daily. Okay, so this is what we were talking about on the daily. In here, you can see I made the updates in here. Because I said 1 to 2 days on that implied signal for us to get the move to the upside, and the XL signal is still right here at the mean. XL can give like fast moves, which I mean that's what we got. But like I said, it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. Talk about this looking like an inverse head and shoulder right here too. But we got it, and you know how I look at it. There it is. There it is. And up, up, and away she goes. So, yeah, I'm looking for this to come all the way up. So that means we keep pushing. Now, what do I think? Still, my target hasn't changed for the weekly, which I'm hoping this holds too. That's going to be this high here for now. But again, this is actually what we're looking at, price action coming to. So then it'll invalidate this, and I'll push this back up, and we'll start looking at that. Okay, so on the weekly, it still remains the same, and that's that we come back to the top side of the mother bar. We can find resistance here at VWAP again. We can, absolutely. That's the first mean reversion to the upside is here. Second mean reversion is this one right here. This is actually where the 50 RSI mean reversion would hit right here at the top side of our mother bar. So that is what I'm still aiming for here on the weekly time frame. I've been saying it for a while and we haven't got there yet. But that is what, if the RSI comes up to 50, that is where that price target is, right there at the top side of this mother bar candle. So I'm telling you now so you'll know when that happens that that's what we're hitting. Now, if the weekly continues up higher, then, something else happening. Something else happening. For now, that's what I'm looking at. Just the top side of that mother bar. Hopefully it's just a sweep. And then if we are going to see a continuation to the downside, and that's an if, because the other narrative was that this doesn't play out the way people think it is. Everybody's saying it now, so I'm gonna go back to saying that we come down here. When everybody gets on it, then I don't wanna talk about it anymore, so but I'm hearing everybody talk about it now. This I wasn't expecting, well, I know that we have, a lot of confluence for this right here, but I was telling you I really wasn't feeling it. But we do have a lot of confluence for it, and now that so many people are talking about it at the bottom, I'm gonna go back and say there's a lot of confluence for this. I'm looking for price action to take the liquidity above here and then roll down. So that's where I'm at. Monthly has only done this little diamond right here twice. It did it here. That was the only other time that it did it. This isn't confirmed yet, so I don't know. It could get invalidated. We'll see. We'll see if that gets invalidated. Right now, we have this whole inside section right here. Speaking of which, let me, uh, let me see if this is still different from weekly. Nope, it's the same as my weekly high, so never mind on that. I'm gonna draw something out differently, but it's the same, so don't need it. Um, we covered this in here. This would be a bounce. This would be a bounce zone. I mean, it is what it is from that drop down right there. This is considered to be, yeah, I mean, it just is. Unless this diamond right here plays out and pushes us down further, um, which, like I said, only happened one other time, and that was over here. Um, then it gets invalidated. This floor holds. So interesting, quite interesting. All right, still holding up for now. Hmm, I've already taken a little bit of profit out of this position, just to cover my fees, and that's it. So if I get stopped out, then yeah, like I said, it doesn't really matter. I end up making nothing on the short if it doesn't come down. Mm. Yep. What was I about to look at? But let's see. Oh, right here. I saw this sliding as we were coming up. Straight up bullish, man. I saw this sliding down. See that Jack and the Beanstalk thing that I call it. And off to the races in here. So this looks absolutely nice. This looks really good. Like there's no doubt this looks freaking good. That looks good. I look at the one over here on the 4-hour time frame. It started sliding down as well over the weekend. So I could tell. And this looks good. Now we are still underneath the scale line, which is generally a rejection zone. So you can see how when you tapping into it, it's a rejection zone. When you're above it, you're good to go. When you're below it, it can act as resistance. So again, the ascending trend line here from these lows here, connected on the line charts here. If it holds for now, again, looking for a little bit of a correction in here and then a continuation up. So if you're not in a long position and you're looking to get into one, we will find one today. Okay, we will find one today. But yeah, I mean, we're looking pretty nice, pretty decent. As far as this channel goes, it's going to be here as well. So I have it. Um, I'll do one over here. Just a minute. Do a little math. Mm, I'm gonna add another one in here just in case we do something a little bit more unhinged. So 72, 134, 13. That's not a lot. All right, I'm gonna do it again. Do something a little bit more daily reactive. So all right, so I'm gonna change that. Yeah, it's gonna be that. Okay, so that meets about what these lows are in here. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with that. I did I did a 2.45%. I think there was another occasion where it was more like a 2.65, but I went with the lower 2.45%, um, which would not be a sweep. It would be us closing up to this level right here. So if I was looking to short, that is how it would look, assuming that we're not going to get into here right away. Drop this in. Don't want a big, let me make sure that 265 too, that I'm above that. Yeah, the stop is above that because otherwise it would be 70, 73, 935, 73, 935. That would be the other target in here. Let me see where. Yeah, so it's well above that. And let me see. Let's see. How about that? That's directly into that low right there. So maybe just go with it. Maybe I'll just go with that. Or I'll just leave it like it is. Yeah, nah, I'll go with that. 73, 935. Yeah, I'll just go with that. Push this up. And that's what I'll be looking for. And this is based on the closure. again, and of course, it's not based on the SFP. If we're looking at the SFP for it, then we'll drop back down to the 15-minute time frame and go with what we have on the 15-minute time frame. And that's gonna be it right there. It's on the 15-minute time frame. If this is, then I'm only looking at 72, 134.13. That would be it right there. I would love for it to be based on the 15-minute, um, 'cause it usually hits. I stopped doing this a while back, and, since the last time where we got that short position, I mean, that long position off of that, ever since this long position, I was like, "You know what? I need to go back to doing that, because I had not done it in a long time, and I think I'll go back to doing it." And the minute I did, I mean, you can see it's perfect. It's perfect. It really, really works every time. Well, most of the time, not every time, most of the time. Most of the time, mainly. It's a good percentile. And the only reason why I put this here instead of at the low down here, I'm gonna see what it looks like if we get the move down to it. But it's because again, the mean reversion on the 1 hour time frame, if it's not gonna roll over, then it won't give us that much. It really won't give us that much if it's not prepared to roll over. And then there is this scenario over here again, which would be the actual 50 retracement right here. See how fast we're moving. I'm not moving that fast. So I need to be sure. Looks like we're trying to flag out again in here. That's what it looks like. You guys can see like all weekend what we did. We hung out. We hung out right here. We just hung out right here. So I couldn't wait for that to happen. Then we've started back hanging out right here. Anyway, I did a lot of charting, mainly in the stock market. So I do have some things I need to cover there. I talk about Microsoft for sure. But I did a heap of a lot of charting for my DCA strategy into certain stocks. Microsoft isn't one that I plan on buying, but, um, it's interesting, so I will cover that today. Also, we talked about AVAX, guys. We talked about AVAX, and, need to see if this is real too. And I did, I shared the post. I told, I said if you like, said if you like, not Undo, but Algo, that the ones that you want to watch are the ones that we were picking at, right? So I said watch PayPay, watch AVAX, watch Dot, yeah, PayPay, AVAX, and Dot. But we covered AVAX a few times before this little breakout started to happen. Now we are still within the same range. So even though it did break this trend line, we are still in the same range right now. But I did buy, remember, I bought and I took a lot of notes. I didn't post the notes on AVAX. Know why this is showing up on the dot. Oh, that's my dot analysis. Well, I'm on AVAX stuff. Okay. While Bitcoin is chilling there. Let's just get back into this right here, okay? So I took a ton of notes on this. Let's go over here to the weekly time frame right here. So I'm not fond of the volume. So I don't know how legit this breakout is going to be right now at the moment um, for AVAX. As you can see that we at least got above average volume. Even right here, that's above average volume on the break of the trend line. We don't have above average volume. It's probably because it was Easter, and today is still a holiday for certain places. Um, but even over here, you can see we got above average volume on the breakout there, uh, above average volume on the breakout here, above average volume in here as well, and we're below average volume through here. So how legit this is questionable. It is a weekly time frame, but even with the weekly close um, yesterday, um, yeah, and the breakout didn't happen there. It's happening now, so I'm not really feeling that. But we are above our trend line. It can always be redrawn, but we are above it. Um, I looked at VWAP. Um, I don't think I got a good signal off of VWAP in here. I did an all-time VWAP on it. I think this is the all-time VWAP right here. Yeah, let me just note that. That is what that is. Only thing I was saying in here with that, and let me hide let me take away all of this noise right there. Only thing I can say about this is that, AVAX traditionally traded above it. So you can see here, you can see through here. Traditionally, it traded above that bandwidth one. This is the low, and it, it's trading below it now. Um, it's a bit of a red flag. I see Bitcoin trying to pop back up again. It's a bit of a red flag, um, but we are still holding, this area right here. So this accumulation level, we are still holding it, but that is a bit of a red flag. So I did make a note on that. The other thing that I notated in here, let's see. Yeah, that was this right here, the demand zone, which we already covered. We talked about the Bollinger Squeeze that's in here. That's happening right now. We're trying to get the breakout in that Bollinger Squeeze. We're still below the 20 SMA here, so we're not quite all the way there. Um, I did notice some stuff on ADX as well, and that is the fact that ADX, for the first time, it really flipped bearish. So uh, that was unusual for AVAX as well. Um, and it could have had a lot to do with that October 10th liquidity grab. That could have been what caused that to happen because it never done that before or broken below that bandwidth one. Uh, I think that we are at a historical floor as well, and I can see that here. So this is historical floor. Let me see if I marked it on the monthly or if I just marked it. Yeah, we identified this ascending trend line right here as a historical floor. But then you can also see it from the weekly time frame as well. And it's never gone below this. So we are at a historical floor in terms of momentum or any pressure to the downside. We have a little bit of bullish divvies in here also. This is also indicating that um, it actually says it's bearish, um, but it is a great place to start looking to for it to recover back up. So, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in here, a lot of positive. I can't really say that, you know, this is the breakout though. Either way it goes, I bought it on Thursday, I believe it was. I got the Coin King to buy some as well to anticipate that if it is, then we're here for it and looking for that move up. Did I put the targets in here? I think I did have the targets to the upside in here. Let me see if I put that in here. Seems like I didn't put them in here. Once I identify that this is an actual breakup, I'll discuss the targets. I'm not gonna do it right now, but we did look at like the fit retracement stuff and all of that. So we'll see how that's gonna go. Let's look at make sure I'm going in the right direction. Let's go down to PayPay. So PayPay, I said to wait on PayPay. I wouldn't buy it down here, but PayPay did push up into these two levels right here that I was watching. I was looking to see how PayPay was going to react with the break above here and the break above here. I think that put PayPay above. Um, let's see. Yeah, it did. It brought it above the mean, which would be sitting right here. So that would be the mean reversion. So that means that we're well above the 50. Um, this would have been the first one that I would have been looking for, and then this right here. So we got above it. Right now, we would be facing some resistance again right here, about 36.39. Be facing some resistance. I did note that the floor was in here, and this was in the post. So this was in the post over here. Um, and that, bears have the upper hand, but possible exhaustion is what I posted on this one. As long as it can hold above it, so you can see that it is above the 50, which is basically where that green line is right there. That is actually the mean reversion level right there, 50. So if it loses 346 and you're falling back below the mean here on the RSI, I was looking for something more like this right here, and it didn't come into it. But I noted, and I don't know. Um, on the weekly then. Um, yeah. So right here, like it has been a historical low for it. You can see right here, and it comes from this low right here. Comes from that, and you can see the bounce right here from it there, and then you can see how it that's why I put broken and reclaimed right here. It came below it, and then it curved back up above it and got that pump there. So it's doing the same thing in here right now, where it's chopping it the same right here. So it is a historical floor for it, and if it just so happens to, why do I have 2 lines in here? I don't know. Let's see. Why do I have 2 lines? Oh, one is from another time frame. That's why. I think one of these is from the daily. Let me, yeah, this is from the daily. It's throwing me off. Yeah, so on the weekly, um, I personally am looking for something more like this, but if Pepe bounces away from where it is right now, great. But like I said, if it does lose that level, then you're coming back below um, the mean on that daily time frame. Here, you're not even at it, so this would be targets to the upside. So target one would be 393, and then target two at its current state would be 510. I would focus more on this one here, but there's a trend line that also shows you that, so you can just draw out that trend line, and it's this trend line right here. It shows you exactly this level right here where you see that first R mean right there. So this trend line right here is a valid place for price to push into for that first target. If that's going to happen, then that's what you'd be looking for. Otherwise, it rolls over. And the reason why I say that is because this is the actual support level here, and that's at 279. I personally wanted to see it tap that, and then I wanted to see how it responds with the RSI. So if this is BS, if this is BS, then it'll come down. And I'm kind of waiting on this right here before I make a decision on PayPay. So it's not one that I've taken yet. It's one that like I said, I'm interested, but I haven't taken it yet. And again, over here, you can see above average volume on each one of these pumps through here, above average volume. Yeah, above average volume, even right there above average volume, and here below. So, I don't know about that. This Easter stuff that we got. And let's go up here to polka dots here. I'm definitely not gonna buy this one until it comes up here. Like, I don't mind being a late buyer because I don't wanna buy into it and then it continues to roll over on me, you know? I just don't wanna do that. There is this range in here. Where did we come from? Yeah, we came from this mother bar right here. This mother bar right here on the monthly time frame. So I'm watching that here. Let me push this out on the daily time frame. We can take a look at that. Currently below that value area low at the moment. So, and you can see how the point of control was working in here for it. Also, it's with these lows in here. So I highlighted out all of the pivot points just to drop down to a lower time frame and play these pivot points if you want to. You can look back at the post I did and you can do all of this drawing just like me. Right. But if I were to get interested in buying DOT, for me personally, it has to be up above here because I don't want it to keep rolling over on me. And then here, that is target one. Target two would be right here at 135. So that would be the 50% retracement, or the mean reversion The RSI would be right here, and then the last one would be right here at 144 at its current state. That this is what you'd be looking at. So if it's gonna push up, then it could get as high as that 146 right there. And you can see how it did every other time in here. So basically, I think I had a floor in here for dot as well here on the weekly time frame. Let me just make sure that I did. Nope, I don't have anything showing up in here. So why not? Did I put something in here in the notes? Or maybe I just couldn't find anything. Um, Despite these projections, is above the weekly VWAP for now. Okay, I said something about VWAP. Okay, low QTD dynamic cloud, macro demand line, VWAP weekly range resistance at multiple key levels showing bearish divergence on the QTD. Blah 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 blah. Is this old or is this that's old? That's 2025. So I didn't put any new notes in here. Let me get rid of that because I don't want to get something. Ah, dang it! I didn't put any new notes in here. Um, didn't I have a floor? I think that this might have been the floor right here, and we just chopping it. So yeah, this is why I'm also not um it's like a little inverse head and shoulders right there. It plays out, but this I don't really have anything good on that. Down here I do. Let's see, somewhere between 1 and 2. I can tell you what that is. Um, I'm just trying this a little hard, though. Just trying this a little hard. This is a nice I mean, you don't have what I have right here. You can still do the trend line right here. I'm just gonna double check that trend line to make sure it's on point. Nothing like a bad trend line. Yeah. So for me, I can't buy this right now. Below average volume, and typically it moves up with some sort of volume above average volume at least. You want to play that? I mean, that would be your risk. And that's a good price point, but geez, I don't want it to keep falling and keep having a good price point. That's why I'm not messing with it right now. I need for it to get above this value area high. It starts trading above this, then my risk to reward would not be as great, but I would be looking at that. And then like I said, final would be somewhere up here, somewhere around this right here. So for that. But these are things that I would be watching for. Um, if it comes down lower, I don't think I could get a good read off of that, but let me see. See, it could come lower, and that's why I'm gonna wait for it to come up here. Once it gets above here, um, and it can flip that into support, then I get interested in it. Right now, it still has the possibility of coming down to 74 cents, which would suck, right? That would absolutely suck. 74 cents is still a possibility. So, me no touchy until it does something like this, but they are good ones to keep an eye on if you're looking for something. If you got the capital to do this, and by all means, go ahead. I don't have the capital to take these chances. Just with AVAX. That's the only one. That is the only one I'm taking a chance with right now. AVAX. So that's what I'm seeing in here. Um, Go to Algo. 'Cause I did post on taking profit on Algo because you were at your first take TP or you'd already hit your first TP and you were coming into your next one. See, that's some good volume right there on algo. So I like algo. And here on the weekly time frame here, you can see right here. So when I was calling it out, it didn't actually come into it just yet. So 1284 is going to put you directly on your so you can see it's at 48.19. That's directly the mean reversion to a 50. It's going to be 1284. That's the second target that I was talking about for algo. And then if you get another one, it's going to be up here at the 15, 16 cent high right here. And so it's going to be into these lows right here. So that's your targets here for algo. We get through those, then there are some other things to look at. But I will be expecting some sort of a rejection. So if it does come into here, I will be watching this top over here, this high of momentum over here. They won't match, of course, they won't match, but algo was a perfect example of a historical floor. So never broken this floor. And this was, throwing off a potential bottom. It's really hard because I don't think that I'm supposed to. I shouldn't be doing that. I should not be doing that. I should take it for what it is. But, potentially looking for it's overkill. It was at overkill. It was at overkill right here when it got that bounce. It was at overkill right here when it got this bounce. So makes sense. I do have some algo. Um, I never added to my algo, and so I'm in. It's a spot buy. Um, where I was supposed to be accumulating, and I decided not to accumulate. So I'm down on that algo. I considered buying, but I'm gonna wait for a retracement and then I'll see what my entry would be for it, just to add to what I have for it. If it does start to show some strength in here after a rejection, then I will look for it to get back into VWAP. That will most certainly be my target. For some reason, these lines are off. It's gonna irritate me. But for now, look for price action to get into these lows right here for algo. But definitely consider taking profit at those levels that I discussed with you because you just want to be locked in. You just want to be locked in. Oh, Algo also had the squeeze down here. You can see the color in here, that green. And that's what all the other charts have. So they all have that vibe, which is, you know, why I'm interested. Even dot, even dot. All right. So that's those. Let's take a look back at Bitcoin real quick here. All right, so we're just chopping this area for now. You got to squeeze on the 1 hour. You know how I always tell you that usually that indicates a move down when it's above the in here. I might actually have it. I don't think I have it in here. I don't have it in here. Um, let me see. I think it's this one. Yeah. When it's up here like this, above that center line, that blue line right there, it typically is a break to the downside. Doesn't mean that it has to give you a lot of break. Be looking for a 20 SMA, uh, return to 20 SMA is what you're basically looking for price action to come back to 20 SMA. That's gonna be right there. So if you're looking at a 20 SMA, just turn on the Bollinger Band in this case. So it's not. It would be a return to this price action right here, this level right here. Right now that's 68,530. That's in place with these two lines that I'm watching right here for where that long position will come in at. It could move. It could be that it just takes this liquidity right here from these lows, and I have that set up over there, um, which is um, which would be this set right here. It could just be that. That squeeze plays out. Hmm. I'm sure if it um, this week, what do we have happening this week? Today we do have ISM services, PMI. That's going to be at 10 a.m. from my time, 10 a.m. Um, and the rest of the week is not a whole lot. FOMC meeting minutes on Wednesday. On Wednesday we'll have that. We'll have core PCE on Thursday. We have core PCE on Thursday. Final GDP quarter over quarter and final GDP price index quarter over quarter. These are not these are medium impact unemployment claims. This good stuff right here. Which next week I'll be on a cruise, so may not be streaming next week. I will post some stuff on X for sure. Keep you in the loop. Uh, core CPI here on Friday. Um, so we'll have some stuff later throughout the week. Today, just ISM services PMI for today. All right, so and a little bit more profit now on the short. That's the short there. So up a little bit more there. And again, on that long, you guys should still be holding on to your long from the low unless you get like me and you close it out. But that's the long that I took here. Actually, let me put it on the next chart. I'm at Blowfin chart because this is where I took it from. Right here, using my strategy, the one where you see the yellow boxes, using this strat right here to call where that low might come in at. So that's it right here. Using this box right here. So in their mouth. And this is why I took some initial this is why I made this my target, just in case it came up and failed this, but it didn't, as you can see, it didn't fail it. It broke through it, and then it came back, and, it looked like it, wanted to reject it at that point, and it didn't. So, you know, you take it for what it's worth. And then, I did this short right here, which was this right here, which is how you see it on the finance chart. I had the actual liquidity level marked out here on the finance chart. And so I did take that. Of course, I got stopped out. Um, and re-entered. Um, and I didn't mark it off here on this chart. That's why it's marked out. I'm trying to run both of these charts. I was having a problem with the liquidity, not the liquidity, but the money flow on Binance chart over the weekend. It was showing that no money was coming in as we were getting pushed to the upside, but it was a spot chart too, so I guess that would have made sense. Um, and this is Asia low right here, I do believe. Yeah, this is Asia low. Okay, this isn't Asia low. This is Asia low right here. I just really didn't think that, you know, would come back in for any of this. But I did post a setup on that, but it didn't happen. So, oh, that seems larger. Hmm, what's the number though? Oh no, I did something wrong. I did something wrong. Forgive me. I was like, no, no, that looks. I typed in numbers. All right, 67. 67. Makes sense now. That makes sense now. I don't know that we come down here and do any of this stuff right here. Looks like we'll stay somewhere in here. Um, but we'll see what market makers think about this. I was like, did they lose control of the market? Like what? Like what? What? Like, crazy. Doing crazy stuff in here. tone down a little bit more, a little bit more. I mean, this could be, you know, it could have just finished out of wave 3 on the 4-hour time frame. And, like I said, that next target to the upside will happen. So, um, that's why I'm looking for a shallow pullback in here as well. If I was on the 4, go to the 4 here real quick. I'm looking for a 382 or a 50. We were doing that the other day. And, let's see. Let me make these lines less thick. Let's go back to this 15. Yeah, that still lines up with what I was looking at. That still lines up. Like, it's giving me it's agreeing with me so easily. It is agreeing with me so easily. So, that lines up. Uh, this or possibly this. This is a lot easier to take this right here over this, 'cause this is, in the middle of nothing. This is in the middle of nothing. This at least has some highs in here. So if we just do the liquidity sweep, then we at least have some highs that we can flip to support. How I have this set up. But in here, we just completely roll over and we have absolutely nothing. So I'm not really fond of this right here as much as I am this right here. So I will move this. Yeah, I sure will. I will move this. Let's go ahead and do that now. Let's do it like this. And what's our entry again? Let me just lock that so I'm not moving it around. All right. I should do this for Blowfin to make it easier. So let me just drop down and make sure I haven't already done it for Blowfin. And I haven't, so let me just, what was I looking at in here? Oh, that's hot. Let me, You can see how we came back and used that, as support instead. Freaking awesome level. But, they danced on my little level instead of, put some respect on its name. Alright. Yeah, I was marking out, some stuff in here from this was from a 4 hour, this is from the 1 hour, so it's quite similar. Dum, 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 dum. Oh, hold on. My bad. No. Alright, so if you're trading on Blowfin, that's what we'll be looking at here. So okay. So it's gonna be that. Imma just go ahead and delete those. Gonna raise this up. Let me just take that number. Apply that entry and, I know I pulled it from here. Hold on, let me go to the 4 hour because I just pulled that wrong. Yeah, it's down here. Okay, I'm gonna go here to 15 minute. Yeah, leave it like this. That's a 0.50. Even though I'm just looking here, but because I don't know if you know if that could happen. Um, this is what I'm banking on right here. We already did that. I'm just gonna delete that. I should at least put. Um, all right, so this is all set and raise the bar. Not gonna push it in all the way. Actually, we're gonna have a little bit of it. We should see some resistance from here. I'm just gonna put this right here. If we can get that, we'll go back to this finance chart. Mm, As I can see that change happening, I'm gonna move that. Like I said, I'm gonna move these two around a little bit as I can see that change happening. All right. While Bitcoin dances around a little bit more, I'm gonna go ahead and move forward because it's gonna be 8 o'clock here soon, and I did want to get into at least, if I do nothing else, let me just cover Microsoft with you. All right. So let's talk about what was our scenario in here. All right. So we had a double top formation in here on Microsoft, and price was right in here back in December. Price was right in here in December of 2025, and I gave you a target to look out for, which was right into this zone right here for Microsoft, and we had a long position that I was interested in taking. And when we came into it initially, we did get a bounce off of it. It was about a 9% bounce, but then I went back on X and I said, "Hey, there's a bearish signal in the chart on this 6-day time frame that suggests that there'll be more continuation to the downside. I'm going to reduce the target on Microsoft because we got that bearish signal." And then I said I exited this situation because of that bearish signal, and rightfully so because it failed, and then we got that additional drop down. So Microsoft and its current state is sitting at a level where it historically has held. I think I have this over on. The monthly time frame. So this is what I've been working off of, the monthly time frame. I can turn that off right there. So right here is a possible floor. It could be a break and reclaim for Microsoft. So I do see that money flow is coming out. We were extensively high in here on this part right here with the bear divs in here also. But this could be a continuation up from here. So I just want to make that clear. If it's not, then I am looking for these lower targets in here. So if we're doing a mean reversion, I'd be looking for about 340 to 331 or 239 to 225. And I'm basing that off of historical lows. So here you can see that Microsoft, again, it held throughout here for many years. And this goes back to 2001. So since 2001, this has been a historical floor for Microsoft. So let's just turn that off. Let's just set this to auto, and then we'll do some rolling through in here. You can already see this one right here, right? And what I would do in situations like this is I would look to my left and I look at prior low pivots in here. But this is good enough. Basically, just coming back up the mean. So a mean reversion is basically all that Microsoft has done. Drop below the mean slightly and then get a bounce back up above it and continue to the upside. This is the one time where it deviated over. So if that money flow coming out here on this time frame, and I think it did it right here as well. So if it gets anything heavy like that, then I would look for these targets over here to happen, and for this low right here to be where the RSI drops into. But you can see throughout here over the years how it has been tremendous, has been a floor for it, but possible that it could break it if this is not the low. There are some things that suggest that this could be the low. Let's see what we had in here. What did I look at right here? Okay, so I looked at QTD, and QTD, this was the bounce to outside of our cloud both times. But if for some reason I do start to see this pushing up higher, I can tell you for sure, maybe it puts in a head and shoulders. So maybe it does get a bounce up. It doesn't get any further than hit here. It puts in a head and shoulder. And let me just see what that measured move is and see if that has any confluence with the targets over here. So off of the highest point here. Let me turn this off because it will magnetize to it. Let me make sure I straighten this out. I think that that's on point there. Okay, and then let's drop this in right here. I think that that's good. Yeah, so this is much lower than what I would be looking at. So I don't think that this is going to be it right here. So it won't be anything like this. This is much much lower, and I don't see anything in the chart that would hint at something like that. Can it happen? Anytime it can happen. But you can see here, historically, we hold above since, yeah, this entire push up has been above. We've got one retracement into the top side of the cloud, and then the second one right here. So, um, this could be it. The other thing that I also noticed is, let me take the QTD away. All right, I could change the period for, the RSI. So let me do that, and let me change the period, and Imma set it to a 28. If I set it to a 28, period right there, then we're just at the mean. So where is the mean at for a 28 period? It's gonna be right here, where we're at. So this is the mean for a 28, right here. This could have been a low for, off. Alright, let me make sure I got that back to how yeah, that's back to a 14. Alright, so it wasn't just that. Let's see here. I did, I think this is a multitude of VWAPs in here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the VWAPs in here. So, and of course, my VWAPs are drawn off of pivot, momentum lines, uh, which are, I think I'm looking at these right here currently. So we did break below, which had everything to do with where we were initially looking at that long setup was from here. The gap was from here, but we did lose that with the extra signal that came in off of the 6-day time frame, showing that that we were going to get more downside. Um, this lines up with it's actually a little bit lower here than what I'd be looking at right here. And again, this is all based on a mean reversion. So the lowest points that I've seen for momentum is what those targets are based off of. Um, and I think I based that one. I had to use yeah, I used this here. So usually it does somewhere between 1 and 2. And it's at 1 already. So again, that's another, it's easier for me to see where the target was at for this one. It's slightly below it. But if I let's take away VWAP for a sec. So 1, and like I said, it's slightly below it. So this would have been 1 right here at 391, which is where our initial entry was at. But we lost that. It doesn't tend to go below 2. It doesn't tend to go below 2, which is why This is the target in here. So maybe it comes down to 2, which would be that. And then I gave it a little extra from, I think, from a 3-month perspective. I gave it a little extra, but you can see it's at the negative 109. And here again, that would have been a 100 retracement right there. Just like over here, you can see um, it's slightly below a negative 100, which is the green line down here. That's the price target right there. And you can see how it came back up that target. So if I turn on this right here, this can help you to see it a little easier. Where we turn back up that level, we did it there, and then we did it again right here. So that would have been the target for that. So if it comes down any lower, that'd be about it. That'd be about what I'm looking for. And if I have to go off of the and these are times where it absolutely went below and came to a drop below 2. It looks like it may have even slipped below 3 at some point, but that would have been this right here. And again, right here. And then you can see how it's in between 1 and 2 right here. So it's in between 1 and 2 right here. Um, but I looked at it from a 3-month. Oh, boy, let's sneeze again. It's cold. It's killing me. Oh, excuse me. So 3-month shows that it only ever does a mean reversion. Uh, it didn't quite hit it, the mean right here. It may have. So right here, no, it didn't see. It didn't quite hit the mean right there. Because it would have been right here in the center. But now we're actually at the mean. So we're at the mean target right here, which is 365 right now. And the lowest I've seen it do was down here below a 2, which is why I got this target in here. So if it's coming below a 2, if we, just talking about like you know, WW3 or whatever we have going on right now, tariffs, war, all of that stuff right there. If that has anything to do with any additional selling pressure, and 2 is what we're looking at based on this historical low over here, and that's what I'd be watching for. And that's oosh, oosh, oosh. I guess that head and shoulder did measure to there, didn't it? That's a 2 right there. I didn't mark that in my chart. I didn't put that in here though. But that head and shoulders did, if we were to get a bounce up and then reject from there, that head and shoulder did measure down here to this 2, which would be as detrimental as it was over here. It doesn't look like much right here in this point, but that actually built up that squeeze for the big breakout here. But it's just to say that, current events do cause something like that to happen. I guess I do need to put a notation in here for that 144. Let me just make a notation here because I didn't consider that. And then I put that 144. It'll change a little bit over time. It will. But let me hide this for a second and let me go back to, actually, I don't have to go back to the daily. I can do it from here. I just want to measure that out again. And let's just see if, just if that were to happen. It's a clean tap tap, right? I'm always, well, actually, it's not a clean tap tap. I'm always curious when I see a clean tap tap. We didn't actually get a clean tap tap right there on that. So, um, and I have no choice but to put it on this one for now. Yeah, I have to consider this. So I'm gonna keep this information right here. That has to be a consideration if, things get bad for Microsoft and it does a continued sell-off, and it has a double triangle on it. So that's usually a double bearish sign right there. Um, hmm, yeah. Wow, that changes a lot of stuff for me. And then let's see. I do have a second set of rays, and it would be this one right here. It would be this one right here. I'm surprised I don't have an all-time VWAP in here. I usually do an all-timer in here, and I didn't do one for this. So let me see what that looks like too. Take it this way. Things get heavy. I really like to look at that. Wow, Microsoft is crazy, man. Everybody needs it, I guess. It's nice to be needed. Something wrong with this line. It was the original line. Let me fix that. Might have to move it again. There it goes. I don't know if there's any data in here that suggests that um, that this one has ever been useful. Nope, nothing suggests that it's ever been useful, so I don't need that. That's maybe why I didn't have it in here. But there is confluence for that, so that could be a thing. So perhaps we hold again. Perhaps Microsoft holds in here. We'll see a push up and then a head and shoulder. Head and shoulder move down for Microsoft would be down here at this 144 in its current state right now. So it's not a bad place to buy though right now. It is up a little bit off of that low that it had. It is up a little bit there, but and I know it's holding a monthly level. I've marked out just a bunch of lines, guys, just a bunch of lines, but that's how I do it. So still a good long to take. Um, this is a monthly level. What price came back into. Actually, it's a weekly because I'm using weekly, monthly, and a 3 month if if it's off somehow or if it's a variable that I can use. But that's what we have right here is that weekly level that we're that's from right now. This is I think this is the big swing right here level right here. It's the big swing level right here. I highlighted. I'm sorry. I highlighted out. Yeah, highlighted out in another color. A little extra color on it. But this does meet that section. It could give it a head and shoulder formation right here at the 467. So, again, it's still a good place to have taken an entry from. Let's see. Um, off that low to current price right now. it hasn't even done as much as, hold on, let me go to a chart that's actually showing what price is at right now. Yeah, it hasn't even done as much as it did when we got that initial bounce, which was like a 9% move, so, I mean, not bad, not bad if you were to, do this, this in here. Let's see what else. Bitcoin is still holding right now. Google Google's mean revert is gonna be around 224, possibly 180 to 174. I have to take this over to a weekly time frame, take a look at what, um, and I think this was marked as a possible, low. Let me see if I have any notes in here for it. Yeah. So historical floor has been here, never been broken. It's still all the way up here right now. Like it's far from anything. So if it's gonna happen, this is what I'd be looking to buy into Google. Because Google is still extremely high right now. So nothing for me to want to touch right now. Sit on my hands, wait. Not interested in taking a short off of it or anything like that either. Um, that ship has sailed. So there's nothing to say here. Say here or say here. Still looks good. What else is in here? Amazon, Amazon. I did buy Amazon on this low right here. You know, I'm looking for a lower target, on Amazon. See if I have Amazon. I do. So I'm still looking for my lower target in here for Amazon. I think I put something in here. Let's see. Yeah, I have two places that I'll be looking at. But right now, this could actually be where, and again, I bought this right here because of that. Um, it was also on good support as well. So good support level right here. And you can see we're rejecting from the lows in here right now. Um, I won't buy anymore unless we do something like this. So again, that's gonna be like 175 and then 127. Those are both possible new reversions for Amazon. I know you probably don't think so. Like that's a lot of money shaved off of Amazon. Absolutely. That's very possible for Amazon. And look who's sitting right here. Double, double, love the double, double, the double, 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 double. So could possibly be at a place where we don't go lower, but I did buy this. I shared that with you that I bought it. But again, if I'm buying again, which I won't touch it right now because it's not at a place where I would be buying it. I just wouldn't buy it. I just wouldn't be buying it. That's a fact. No sense in buying something unless it's on sale. Let's see, VWAP terms. Um, that is your VWAP there. Uh, we didn't come down into this trend line right here. Uh, The short was given on Amazon right here. The short was given on Amazon. Didn't entertain that one, but the short was given right here for Amazon. And it was, I was looking at that one. And then this was the other one. That was the one that hit and that played out fully for how I had it set up back then. So, um, that ship has sailed, and I did not short Amazon. I don't tend to short stocks. I just don't. I'm looking to buy them, not looking to leverage, not looking to do any of that stuff, but just for investing for me. So that should be WhatsApp there. This is from it was just gonna look different. It looks different. Because this is the trend line right here. So I can plot my VWAP on the trend line touch. So that's that one. And that's it. Looks different on the other time frame, but because this is on extended hours, but that was the tap right there. For the long, I think it was also like a fib level. Yeah, it's a golden pocket tap also. Therefore, why is this other? Oh, that's get that out of there. Yeah, it was also a fib. Well, so lower down, those are the targets I'll be looking for here for Amazon to buy in at, and those are possible. I'm not going to go through the why. If you saw the Microsoft, then you understand why I'm looking at that in that way. Typically, that's what we get. Price deviate from the mean, it comes back to the mean. It's a springboard, so that's what you're looking for. Come back to balance, and that's why those targets are legit. And again, those targets. What's my table? Did I delete my table? I know I didn't delete my table. Did I? Could I have deleted my table? Did I not have a table in here? Oh my gosh. Could have sworn I had a table in here. Okay, that sucks. I just have to, um, hmm. Alright, so Tesla, um, Tesla's basically still doing what we were calling for way back, way back, way back up here. We're calling for Tesla to get down into the lower threes, and we're making that move right now. I do have, God, I cannot believe that my table is gone. I don't know what I did. My table was there. Um, the mean revert for Tesla is going to be about 337. There's also 282, and then there's also 276 to 200. So I got three in here. This is the main right here. So I'm looking at something like this right here. This has been a common retracement zone right here for Tesla. So if I take a look at, let me turn this off. This is the all-time VWAP. So this is where we're resting at bandwidth 2 right there. I'll take that away. Take a look at this here. We're looking at a mean reversion here. So in between here and here is where Tesla comes back to. In between the yellow and the red usually taps here on this yellow right here. So this is what I'm looking for basically. And I know that's a long way off from what I was initially talking about. This would be the mean reversion right here at 337 for Tesla. This right here is like a quick, like I want to, yeah, that's fast right there. But this would be the mean reversion right here on the RSI would be right here. Tesla doesn't tend to respect that, at least not here on this monthly time frame. It tends to roll all the way back down. So that's why I'm watching for this trend line right here and this red zone in here for Tesla price to come back to. And I'll be looking to scoop some Tesla up. I know Tesla is a really hard one. It usually doesn't like to pull back like that. Um, that's what people think, but that's, yeah, that's the target right there. That is the target, that red box right there. Loves this red box, loves this red zone right here. And again, like I said, right here and here, between here, I'm looking forward to come back to here. Bam, bam, bam. That's what I'm looking for to see. Down to here, just based on, let me see, 3 month. Yeah. So 3 month wise, Tesla tends to hold around the 50. You can see right here on the 3 month. So on the 3 month, that's going to be 255.24. So it tends to hold right here if it comes back down. Um, this pump to the upside here came from a mean reversion there. This pump to the upside right here came from the mean reversion here. Same thing right here, mean reversion there. So if this does come down, then I would look at 255 again inside of the red zone right here, which is why I have that 276 to 200 right here on a 3 month time frame. So you will have to be patient and allow this to play out if you're wanting to buy some Tesla and you don't want to pay premium for it. Discount is gonna be coming back to here. Right here, it did slip over it just a little bit, very tiny right there, and that's where that, uh, was gonna be yellow on the, weekly, I believe it was on the weekly. That's where that came in at, but, yeah. So, mean reversion would be here. That's why I said, um, this red zone right here. 255.24 is a great place to start buying Tesla. If you get it for less coming down into here, then whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo. Okay, we back. We back. Uber doesn't have enough information. I think I put a note in here stating that it doesn't really have a lot of information for me. Let me take this away. On this weekly, you'd be looking for price to push back up into that mean instead of continuing down. I have not bought any more Uber just yet. This is the standard floor for Uber. You can see how it got relatively close to that. So this has been a floor right here for Uber. It just deviated over it a little bit right here, and that's the only time that it deviated. So I actually bought this back then. I bought that. I don't have Uber. Well, I recently bought some Uber again because I had sold Uber, but this is the one time where it did deviate below it a little bit before recovering it very quickly. But this has been a general floor for Uber on the weekly time frame. I don't think I saw a floor on the monthly. I don't want to go too far out yet. So on the monthly, I don't really have that same. Yeah, it's not as compelling in the monthly time frame. Or on the 3 month, it didn't have enough information in here. So if I'm just going off of the weekly, um, then yeah, that's it. And this level right here where it's holding, I think that that is a monthly level. I can tell from here that it likely is a monthly level because, yeah, it's a monthly level. Possibly, possibly that is a monthly level right there. And we did come back up and reject um, from the initial trend line that we got the breakdown from. Right here, which is this one, and I think we also rejected VWAP as well. See, no, we're supporting on that VWAP right there. It could be the all-time VWAP. It could be that for, but this one has held it up quite well, and that's coming from this tap right here. So we started this trend line that we just recently broke down from right here, where that VWAP is coming from. And that tap right there too. So that's that VWAP coming there. And then on the all-time, let's see what that was. Yeah, same thing for the all-time. So yeah, The only other place I would look, uh, is gonna be lower down here. I think it was, whatever was in here. Yeah, so starting from here to here, and, the reason for that, uh, I think that that was because of, um I think that was because of this. I think. I don't think it's actually gone. Yeah, not even that. It's usually between the 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, but that's usually in between, so no, it's where I would expect for it to come from, but, just in case, the next move down would be somewhere in here. Can I do that off of monthly? Yeah. So I determined that off of this because, this had dropped down in between a 1 and a 2. So, that let me know that if price were to come down and drop into this 1 and 2 again, that would be, let me start with that VWAP was going through there. So that would be right in here. And this will I'm sorry, right in here. This would change over time, but that would be right in here. So, yeah, I'm looking at anywhere from that, 60 to this 50, 54 right here. And this was the only other time right here where it dropped down into 1 and 2 right here, which is here. So 1, 2 is there. So it dropped into it right there. So if it did it this time, that's what I'd be looking for, Uber. So I'll be looking to buy based on that. Bitcoin's still holding the line. Let's go to, is that a 3-month level or monthly level, I believe. This is weekly. Could be a weekly. Could be. Yeah, it's a weekly level. Okay. Alright, so Pony. I was telling you guys that I picked up more Pony right here. Now, there's not enough data for Pony at all. So I did put a notation in here, not enough data, and it is going to be a high risk play because there's not enough data to determine how low Pony can go. Pony could continue to roll over. I honestly feel like Pony is undervalued, and so I did buy more Pony, and I bought it because of this situation right here. And I did it based on this pivotal low right here on the RSI. I could just put a line right here instead. So I did it based on this right here. Once it dropped into here, I said buy, and it was also a 786. Not only is it 786, it's also a monthly level of support right here as well. Now Pony, when I looked over here on the weekly time frame, I was like, it could go a lot lower and it could drop in between a 2 and a 3, which is going to be terrible. That means Pony can be all down here somewhere. So it is a high risk play, but I bought more of it. I doubled up on it, and I like the project. They have good earnings. They're based in China. I like this. I just like it. It could fail. Remember Novo? I like that too, and it pumped for a little while, and then it absolutely failed. So that could happen. That could happen with Pony as well. But I bought. And like I said, it is a weekly level of support, so I don't have to use that. I can show you that it's not just a 786. I'm not like just buying a 786. I'm not just buying um the RSI. I'm also looking at the fact that it was a monthly level of support. So if I take it over here to monthly, you can see right here. Turn this off. It is also a monthly level of support, so I do like that for Pony. I like that. It just happened to line up with where the 786 is, and the momentum seemed to line up with it too. It looks like we're down a little bit here pre-market on it. Let's see. Slightly. So, like I said, Pony can continue to roll over, and it can. It can continue to roll over regardless of how the earnings and all that good stuff is going. It can continue to roll over. Right now, it's not looking so hot, but hey, I feel that they're undervalued, and I'll buy some more if it drops some more. But otherwise, hopefully it'll hold and it'll continue up. But that's Pony. That you can see in here. Current target to the upside is going to be between 1242 and 369. That's going to be my current target to the upside, and that's just if it gets a retracement back to the mean. Then that is what I will be looking for. So we're below it right now. If we bounce up from here and we're coming back at least to just in here to just the 50%, then that would be the target, 252 to 1369. It's going to be those two right there. So that's a pretty good risk to reward. It's a long-term hold for me, but that's not bad for Pony. That is going to be back into the lows in here. Also, you can see that that'll be back into these lows right here. So if it's not those lows, it'll be this low right here. That's basically where that measures up to. And that is also right here. So I'm looking at it from a monthly time frame on this target. On the weekly time frame, it's a little bit less. It's coming just back to this low right here. Coming just back to this low right here is what you'll be looking at. But from a monthly time frame, oh, that was a daily. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, from a weekly perspective, it would be in here. So it'd be back up into here on this daily time frame. However, on this daily, it's a little bit less. So far, it only been doing like the bare minimum on the move back up, but that was the first time right here where it came back to the mid green line. So yeah, so that initial push up right now could just be back into the lows right now. Faster. Meta. Um, I do still hold a target in here for Meta. This could be it. So current RSI momentum on the 1 month does call for 580.95. Um, that's supposed to be my retracement up. That may be retracement up. Let's see. This is the all-time anchor VWAP for Meta. It does give me a target down to here. So I have all four of these in here. I think this is what price currently is getting bounced from right here. But these are the three that I'm specifically calling out right here. 516, 388, and 256. So if this head and shoulder plays out fully, this will be the measured move here for Meta. And you can see how we did have clean touches here on this breakdown here. And yeah, I mean this is validated. So this would be the target here for the Meta right here. You can see that Meta only on one occasion, from what I could tell, actually from this all-time VWAP right here, usually stayed above the standard or the bandwidth one here. This is one time where it did deviate below it, but it is calling for it to come back and tap it again. So that would make sense to me with this and the measured move for Meta. I was looking at um, actually I didn't measure this out as a head and shoulder. I measured this out as an ascending broadening on top. I did not measure it out as a head and shoulders. I measured it out as this pattern formation right here. You see the widening triangle right here, back in there. That's what I measured it out from, and that measures it to here. I apologize for that wrong information. But that is set to be the target right here. As far as the pivots go, I can turn off. Uh, this here, see right here. So, um, it's a lot. So, yeah, yeah, we're at the it is the mean reversion right now, which is why it's holding right now. So currently, again, it is slightly below it at the 49.39. It is slightly below it, but it's pushing back up into it ever so slightly. So it did fall below it. Um, this still looks okay. This looks like it would just be corrective unless it does start to go lower. So it's holding here right now. It could be, that's what I was looking at. Okay, so that's the current state of things right now. This is saying that it's the target. So I have it blocked between that 379 and that 347 right there. I have it blocked between that 388. 388 is slightly above that, but I think that it comes into the actual block. You can see the support would be right over for the measured move down to this point. Why did I look lower? I didn't have to see why I looked lower. Um, it could be, I think it's because there was no actual floor in here for Meta. There's no actual floor in here, at least not from a monthly time frame. From a 3-month time frame, I think I was able to switch this to a 28 and get this above here. So if we were doing that, I think that was what gave me the, let's see, 28. Yeah, so on the 28, it's directly right here. Um, the 28, I think this might have dropped below it because this would be 28 right here. The red line would be 28. So that could target here. The other thing I looked at was just here, which is let's do a 1. So if it's doing a 1, maybe that's time I do that 1. 1 would be here, and I think it dropped between a 1 and a 2, so a 1 and a 2 would be here. If it dropped to a 1 and a 2 again, then that would be terrible. I don't think that Meta would do anything like of the such thing, but I do think that this right here could happen right here. I do think that could happen back here to the support level right here, and you can see that that would be like the perfect retracement because this is where you have your prior high at here. Looking at it on the 3-month time frame, this is where you have your prior high at right here. It just kind of makes sense to me. So I'm gonna sit around and wait on this right here to take place, and it could take a long time. I know I say a lot of stuff and I sound a little ridiculous with my targets, but I can tell you that I've been on point with my targets. I have been. They've just taken some time to get there, and because I'm looking at a monthly and a 3-month time frame, mainly a 3-month time frame is what I look at for this stuff, so, um, it just really just takes time, just takes time. I was retweeting something last night, Netflix. I was retweeting, my Netflix call, which took a long time for that to play out, and yeah, like, it was one of those situations like, I sound a little, I don't know how many people, believed in me when I said it. I was looking back at this post right here, and at the time, like we walked through this entire thing from the little bounce that we initially got off of it to where we started to lose our trend lines through here, our momentum lines through here, demand lines, where we started to break down below those. And I was saying to you that $96, it was at 96 at the time. I was like, if 96 fails, the next downside magnets line up around 85 and 75, and they're both areas where prior liquidity sits and where technical structure supports a deeper retest. That might have seemed like, you know, I don't know. And at the time, they were in that bidding war and all of that stuff right there. And in Netflix, sure enough, $75 and one penny. $75 and one penny. And I can show you a lot of other calls. I've been killing the stock market. If I've been doing anything, I have really been slaughtering the stock market calls. Really have been slaughtering the stock market calls. Imagine buying that. I'm not into Netflix, so I'm not looking to do it. I did buy one time, throughout this channel drop. I did buy one time, and then, um, I don't know, I didn't have any interest in it really. Um, Not even coin anymore, like, and it's 8:10. Alright, let me get back over here to Bitcoin. I was gonna get into Coinbase, 'cause I don't know if I wanna buy any of this stuff in here anymore. I mean, if I was gonna buy it, that was my time to buy it right here when we dropped into this trend line right here, coin, but, I really yeah, that was this trend through here. Um I just didn't wanna buy anything else in crypto related. So, yeah, like, I'm not gonna go in the stock market and then start buying stuff crypto related. So, I was like, "Not this time. I'm just gonna let it go." So, if I was gonna hold on to it, that would have been it. Maybe coulda even considered it right there again. I know that it does have a historical floor in here, which, this is from, hold on, why does that look like that? Did I do this from a daily? No, I did it from a weekly, but why is oh. It could be. Did I change this back? I didn't. I'm like, "What the world? What the world?" It has a historical floor through here. It could hold on, monthly. No, it's weekly. That is correct. But it swing below it could swing below it, and I only went with this because of the first pivot here from where Coinbase got listed. This gave the first pivot right here. I did come down slightly below it to see how it acted at those moments. So, it didn't do so well right here. It actually put in some bearish divergence right there off of that bounce. It could be putting in some bear divs in here right now. So I'm not really interested in buying this one. It didn't quite tap into them right in here. It did here at that occasion right there, and it's sitting back down here at it right now. So I think that it could put in some bear divs in here and continue to roll over a little bit. As far as this goes, it's usually between um, 1 and 2. That that actually made sense more to me, using this right here between 1 and 2, maybe slightly below 2. I think this right here was an expansion, so it's not really good to use that expansion as an example. Um, but yeah, I guess expanding a little bit right here, which is why I think it could put in some bear divs trying to come back up. And if I just stick to just plain chart analysis, like candlestick analysis, trend lines, and stuff like that, then I won't, just I just go with that stuff. But it does have the tendency to do somewhere between 1 and 2. 1 is green, 2 is yellow right here. So again, over here, this went below 2 right here. So um, that's on point right there. And if it's where it's at now, it's common for it, but it is putting in some bear divs. So I think it'll continue down. Personally, I do. I think it'll come down lower. And I think I had something measuring out for a move right at here, which is pretty low for coin, but that's what I have. So if Bitcoin is going to do anything of the sort, then that's just something that I would be looking for here with coin. Let me see if I have a note in here on the table or anything, and I don't have a note in here on the table, but I need to make notes on that. I got kind of tired last night. Um, oh yeah, this was also my daily stuff in here, daily levels, or you can see how many times it held through here. It lines up with all these pivots if you see all these pivots in here. But this is what we were initially using to gauge where support and resistance would come from, or these daily levels in here. But I stopped using them and just turned it off. I stopped actually paying attention to coin altogether. Uh, but liquidity taken from there. Liquidity was swept from the low right there, bounced off of the trend line and, bounced away, but it is putting in some bear divs. I don't like it. And again, like I said, it suggested to me that coin, that's why I put this purple in here. I was like, I didn't want to put anything in here this low, but it suggested to me that coin could get down into here, into this 82 to 67 in here if you get down into here. So we'll see. We'll see. That's what I saw. That's what I saw. We'll see. Right now, you you want to take a chance, good. It doesn't hurt to buy from there and buy some more, some more, some more. If you believe in coin, that's what you would do. Um, I'm not buying anymore crypto related projects. I'm just not. Bitcoin is um, still holding those highs right now. Did I cover hood? I don't know if I covered hood or not. Um, I told you I bought hood. I did tell you that. I posted that actually. I bought hood. I was like, yep, yep. Let me buy some hood right here, up on hood right now. And I plan to buy hood again. Hood drops into here, which is going to be, if it finishes out this measure move, I'll buy there, I'll buy here, and hopefully it stops there. But I did buy hood right here. I also had some motivation to buy hood there also because of um, yeah, it was this right here. Like this was, I think I might have to drop this down. Yeah, like this. So this was my motivation also. It's like, oh crap, yep, let me buy. I wanted to get all the way down here, and I had that buy order open, and it was never getting down here to my buy order level. Do still have a buy order open on it though. But this is looking to come back up. It really, really, really got, I mean, it could, continue down a little bit more, finish out, maybe some sort of an ending right here, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the ending triangle right here. That could be the case for coin. I mean for Robinhood, and then you get an ABC correction and here continuation or 5 or something like that up to the upside. I mean, to me, it looks like it could be a 5 waiver right here, and it's finishing out. It looks like it might be in a diagonal ending, you know, a whatever triangle. It could have an ending triangle right here, or that's what I think. Um, maybe I don't know. I don't know. Something like that. It's something like that. Um, but yeah, that was motivation right there, baby. I looked at this and I was like, yep, just gonna have to go ahead and buy. And then if it comes down lower, then I will buy some more. I'll buy some more. So it's a 1-2, a 1-2, a 1-2, a 1-2, a 1-2. So a 1-2, 1-2 again. See it's expanding, so yeah, it could still be playing out that move to the downside. But I dang sure bought right here. Unless we start to hold in here or we get some sort of a volatile pump to the upside, yeah, it could be finishing out that move in here. So I'm definitely looking to scoop her up a little bit more right here, scoop up a little bit more there. So maybe that comes in line with it tapped into this trend line right here. Um, this was the last time where it came in between 1 and 2 right here. But when it's like this, then likely it does, continue to deviate down. So you'll get the little bounces in here, the little candles that give you the little bounces, but you put in bearish divergence and you continue to the downside. That's how that would work. Ain't that my buy? That's my buy right there. That's my buy. I got it sitting over there on Webull, waiting to execute. I did, I got tired of waiting for one of my orders to get filled. I was like, "Okay, we're never getting there right now." So I bought the VWAP with the momentum stretch. Um, for Hood. Yeah, I think it was also a field retracement level. Just your basic field retracement. No, it wasn't. It wasn't because it had lost that golden pocket. Yeah, that lines up with the 786 though. So that's my next buy for Hood. Love Hood. I love it. Um, who else was there before I go? Apple. I don't think I mapped out Apple again. I haven't looked at Apple in a long time. Mapped Apple out. Last time I looked at Apple, it had the parallel channel to the upside and talked about the VWAP drop, and I remember saying something about reclaiming. I think at the time we had dropped below here, and I was looking at it from a lower time frame. I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to get back above this right here, but get back above here, and we did. Um, and this could get worse. This could get worse. Let's actually just put a field retracement level up. Not that, not that, not that, not that. Could be the start of something larger. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Could be the start of something larger. However, how much time it needs to get over here. Get on over here, I guess. Unless it isn't. Let's see. Don't mess around there. This is on the daily. was I looking at it for a daily for? Oh, for it to put in some bearish divvies, more than likely. So I did look at these targets already there and here. It's 24. It's a daily or something. Anyway, just make sure you don't go anywhere again. Keep you traveling around the charts. Let's go back over here to quickly take a look at what it looks like in here. So, dang, Apple has been around that long. Wow, since 1981. See where you first, see where you first initially directly on that low for me. Actually, let me open it up. See if that makes it easier for me. Let me see how that looks. I don't like it. Let me go to a monthly. Something in here. It's more so like this. Just put a triangle in here. Hmm, it's interesting. One deviation above right here. I would move this. I just want to see what this one deviation above was right here, and then it started to diverge and squeeze up higher. Usually something like that, you see a return back into it. I don't think Apple would come back down that low, but usually something like that, um, in my experience, you tend to come back into something like that. But some sort of triangle formation in here, for Apple, one slight deviation. I mean, it did already come back into it at one point. Yeah, okay, I'll put it up there for now. So there's nothing really clear in here on Apple's lows in there. The best thing that I could go off of is gonna be something like this. So if it did, come all the way back in, let's see if it lines up anywhere with this. I don't know why this is off. It's probably the time frame. Um, let me see if it's a time frame thing. No, I don't know why it's off like that. And why didn't I use the actual channel? Another thing too. Anyway, let's just see. Instead of 1, 2, slightly over 2. So that would be somewhere, it would be somewhere in here. So it would be right back to this channel line right here. So this 1, this is 2 again. It would be somewhere back to this channel right here. That could be the case for it. That's 1.618 right here. Fib extension comes into 1 right here, and that seems to have been what it's done right here. It's at 1 perfectly right there. It did a mean reversion here, which is the dotted blue line right there. Here it came below slightly in between the mean and 1. So yeah, if the most damage it would do suggests that that is what it would be. He's somewhere back down towards this trend line right here. So could see price action between 212 and 184. Could see something like that for Apple. 212 to 184. And of course, there's a change over time, possibly. Um, and then I said, mm, mm, I'm willing to buy. I'm willing to buy in here and back towards the channel low right here. I'm willing to buy without it doing that or not. And I can actually change this to a channel. Let me drop that. Use an actual channel. Yeah. Nice clean tap off of that high when we had that rising channel right there. This is authentic. So I like it. And this is what I'll be looking for. Come back here. Back here. See how long it takes for that to play out. Let's see. Over here it took 120 days. For that low to happen. Let me see how long this low took. I'm actually take it from this red candle right there. Took a whole year. Wow. I don't think I got patience for that. This is just be one that I don't give a crap about. I don't have patience for that. 2 months, yeah. I have patience for 2 months. I don't have patience for a year. 3 months, I can do 3 months. I just can't do a year. I cannot do a year. Anyway, yeah, I can't do a year. That's what we could look for Apple. Let's hope it happens faster than later. If it's going to happen, let's hope it happens faster than later. Right now, if this trend line here maintains, then I wouldn't be looking for any more than a mean reversion. That's makes a lot more sense. I would just look for a mean reversion. So it's pretty close to where that is. That would be at the current state 230. 230. You've already hit this one right here, which is a faster mean reversion right here. So coming back to here, you could easily do that. Yeah, because in those other instances, as it was rising up, it was really just kind of swiping the mean and moving away from that. So, yeah, something like that. But this is perfectly in line. Actually, let me try that. I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna hide that for now. Let's put this back in the 28. It makes sense from this point, from here through, makes sense on the 28. But you can see that there were instances where it probably didn't hit it. It hit the 28 there, hit the 28 there. So the 28 there, the 28 there, the 28 here as well. The red line right there. It didn't hit the 28 here. It came close towards it right there. Uh, it tapped it right here. So, but it did the rejection. So of course the RSI bounced back up. So it hit it there. I'd be looking for price action to come back to the low of this channel. If we can get another 28 reversion, that's what I'd be looking for. So I'm just gonna leave that reading the way it does. I like it. Absolutely like it. Okay. So on the weekly, we're showing that we tapped into 28. It's on 14 right now, so you can't tell. But let's just put it back. 28. So we're showing that we tapped 28. Well, we did the mean for 28 look back period right there. So that's what it's showing with this hold right here. So hopefully we'll get that on the monthly time frame. That's the top one we were looking at. I'll go back and make some notations in here so I'll make sure I'm not wrong about it. But that, yeah, that's that. See if it'll hold up and bounce away from there. Otherwise, this is what? Between 1 and 2. Yeah. So set it back to 14. All right, let's jump back over here on Bitcoin before I get out of here. So just going to cover the setup again with you. Let me see if anything's changed over here that I need to be aware of. I do need to move this here. Here, just see how it's lining up more and more with our situation in here. This is where I originally had this long setup at for right here. But again, if we do on the on the 1 hour time frame. Oh, good morning, welcome to YT. I'm so sorry I missed your message. I'm over here running my mouth. Um, not looking down, not looking around. And you probably already gone because I know he usually comes in and round about 8 o'clock he has to depart. And I usually end the stream at 8 o'clock. I did want to get into some of this the stock stuff and it's way advanced out there. I will do some posting on those targets and stuff like that. Again, I've fortunately think I'm grateful that I've made some strong calls in the stock market. And we'll see if we can't keep that going. Um, we'll see how AVAX and all of that does today too. AVAX, APay, and DOT, which the only one I'm in right now is AVAX. I think I entered that on a 3x leverage. Yeah, 3x. Um, because I'm, looking at it from a weekly perspective. So with this right here, if we're only gonna do let's see, if we're gonna continue to hold on our weekly time frame, I'm just looking for a mean reversion, and that's it. So I just pushed this up a little bit more right here because the mean reversion is coming in right here at the moment, um, for that 1 hour, the 1 hour, which is all the way back down here. So holding this high over here, basically what I'll be looking at. But yeah, I'll be all the way back down here. Um, severity of again, like I said, it could be because we were in between a 4 and 5, wave 4 and 5 could be the case. I think that that number would be a little bit different on the higher time frame, and again, I'd be looking for price action to get up into um, at least this top right here for now. I'm just gonna keep it at that for now. That's my focus, 72,000. And see how the market opens and how much they want to correct from this because we're high up the hog right now. We're flying high in the sky right now. You still here? Yay! Salty. Good morning, Salty. Yeah. So if we do get that drop down and we just take the liquidity in here and we do a mean reversion, this is about all I'd be looking for us to do. And that's what this setup right here is looking at right here. So 382 to 50% retracement. I wouldn't be looking for anything steeper. If that's not going to be the case, and this, you can see that this setup right here is looking at if we just take this liquidity right here and we still hold, I mean, reversion, because it will change a little bit more over time, then that's going to be 68,673.45. But the entry is going to be from, actually on Blowfin chart is going to be different. I'm trading on Blowfin, so that entry is going to be 68,631.2. That's what I'm going to be looking for. We take this liquidity right here, just swiping it, holding the mean on the 1 hour time frame for a continuation to the upside. If we get it right now, um, I guess we're waiting for markets to open again right now to tell us. Again, I would not focus on that CME gap too much. I just wouldn't put a lot of emphasis on that CME gap, just because of the daily time frame. Like, unless this whole move up was BS because it was, Easter. I mean, we know the liquidity, Easter weekend. We know the liquidity was low. We have below average volume on our daily time frame for every day that we were getting this pump, even though we were expecting to get a pump up because of the daily time frame. So this is the setup that I will be watching for. If we do anything heavier, then this would coincide with the 4 hour. If nothing about this has changed, then this would coincide with the 4 hour right here. And basically, I think that this is just looking at a golden pocket retracement, I believe. I believe it lines up with the golden pocket retracement. No, it doesn't. I must have pulled it from lower. Let's see. Let me just see if that's what I did. I didn't base it on the golden pocket retracement. I based it on the mean reversion. No, it has nothing to do with this golden pocket stuff. So I just based it on the mean reversion. I think that may have changed slightly on the, let's see, 4 hour. Um, which I'm not banking on the 4 hour, just because that would do something with that daily candle. If anything, maybe that 68,316 is what I would be looking at, something like that. But I would not, yeah, if I was looking at anything in here off the daily, if this is our actual rejection, here, trend line. Let me take these dashes away and just put a solid line right there. If this is legit rejection, if it is, then it could be It could be something like this or back into here, back into these highs right here. Looking for these highs to hold that support and actually just do it with this. It's not a liquidity level. So let me make sure I change that. It's not a liquidity level, but it could be this. And let's sync that in the layout. And let me do it right here as well. Loafing in. Could be this. It wouldn't make the daily candle look like trash. Oh, and I didn't change this in here, so I'm going to change this in here. And this is simply, I locked it, sorry. I just moved the data point to that low and this one right here for the cleaner rejection. So it could just be that. So if I push back, it's close to what I was looking at. I can take these away. Could be this. And then maybe it cares for that. I'm gonna leave it how it is right there at 67662.6. I'm gonna leave it at that. But I would have to, I mean, it would have to find support through here. That in that 4 hour. Hold on, let me look back at that 4 hour again. Just RSI wise, because it has a nice trend through here. Really nice trend through here. You can see right here, held there, and then let me make sure that that was correct. Yeah, so it's like it swiped it a little bit right there, but that's okay. This would imply to me that the trend would continue up unless, like I said, market opens and then they ready to just straight trash this this pump. Because I mean, I don't know if we're bullish enough. I don't know if we're bullish enough for that, but you know, nonetheless, this still looks good in here. So if I'm looking at this, still looks decent. Oh, never mind. I want you to roll over. I want. I would love. I would love for you to roll over. 4 hour could roll over. That could have been it. That could have been it. But we'll see if it wants to chop around in here, like you know how it chopped around over here, and squeeze up a little higher before we actually got that complete breakdown right there. No problems right there. It chopped around. It chopped around in here. You can see where we had multiple. I would have went with the drop back below one, except for right here. I would have went with that. Again, I would have went with that too. So it chopped around over there. It chopped around right in here before it actually broke down. I would never assume. I would assume that this would be support. If it's sitting lower, it's sitting low. It's sitting high right now. It's at a 95 right now. So I would expect for it to roll over. I would actually expect for it to roll over. Anytime it rolls back up here to the top, pushes back up to the top, and I'm looking for it to roll over. It pushes all the way back down towards the low. Like this right here, like this move right here, it was at the low. So I'd be looking for it to hold support and continue up, which is, the long setup there. Yeah, I would look for the hold support there. I would look for it to hold support like it did over here because it's all the way down at the bottom. Same thing would have went for this over here. Got a small bounce right here. It didn't, got a rejection at the mean and continuation down as it was putting in. No, I didn't put it in. There it is. But yeah, rejection from the mean and then a push back down. And which is why it's a good idea to take some profits anytime you come into your mean reversion. Take some profit. That's basically it. But yeah, I mean, we could see a rollover here on the 4 hour time frame. We'll see if we get that first. But the daily time frame still looks nice. Still looks nice. Still looks good. And like I said, we were saying we were gonna get this pump. We were gonna get this pump. I mean, we're gonna get the continuation anyway. And that's what we got. That continuation. So it really has not been moving lower than one. It really hasn't. Like we've been holding. Let's see. This got really bad over here. So this wouldn't be a good example if I would have put you on to that. But through here it had really been holding two. I'm sorry, two. I really been holding two. Really have been holding two. So really has been holding. Had been holding two. Right here, two there, two there. And this is where let's see. No, that's one. I'm sorry. I really have been holding one. This right here was overkill because this was when we came below. This line right here. I was telling you about this right here the other day. Like this line right here, this 3501, had been doing pretty decently for bounces off of Bitcoin. You know, every now and then you got to break below it, and when you did, and you reclaim back above it, it was a buy. It was a buy. It would have got chopped up in here, but nonetheless, it was still valid. It was chopping it, just trying to round out, just trying to round out in that case. But that could have been our top right there. And sure enough, could have been our top for now, for a little bit of a correction from this weekend debacle, you know. But I would be looking for support and continuation. So if this did come back down, let's just say it did one, that would be a long drop. I don't know if we get all the way back down to one, but that would be a retracement of all of this. And I think we were talking about like a CME gap. But I don't think that CME gap gets filled right away, but that would push us back down towards this trend line here. Oh, that was the other thing right here. I was sharing on X that we didn't actually break this. You see how we got wicks below it? We're still holding that. We're still holding that. I kid you not. And, you know, I always try to make sure I draw my trend lines properly, point to point. We're still holding. So we've had no actual breakdown of the bear flag, if it's the bear flag, which, I mean, it's counter trend to the downtrend, which, you know, tends to, you know, be a breakdown, you know, something that breaks to the downside, but we actually did not. We wicked below it, but we didn't close below it. I mean, you can say it, that little point right. I was looking at Aptos over the weekend, and I was like in the 4 hour, but it's chopping something. So I was looking to take an entry on it, but I didn't do it. But no, we didn't. This is still intact. This is still intact. We have to actually close below this line. We can't just be wicking it. We have to actually close below it. And since we're all looking at it from a daily perspective, it has to close below it on the daily. We can't look at it closing below it on a lower time frame. We have to look at it closing below it on the daily. And until that happens, it's still intact. It's not broken. So I just wanted to put that out there. And this could like this would be like a double back test. If you're looking at this like a head and shoulder, it could just simply be a double back test into this trend line right here. It just depends on what they want to do with us with the weekend. But I mean, I like the daily time frame, so I'm not fussing about the daily time frame at all. Let's just say for sakes, if this would still be whatever, you know, anyone was looking for it to play out to be, which says that it takes this liquidity right here. If you're looking at this like a head and shoulders, it did initially get a back test right here. We took the short off of that, and then you can say it's back testing it again possibly. If I'm looking at a bearish perspective, which I find it very hard to believe that it could be bearish. Right now, I'm finding it hard to believe that it could be bearish. But I don't mind if it absolutely nukes. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. Um, but I mean, maybe that's it. But like I said, it has to close below this line. It has to close below it. We can't just be looking at wicks and saying we've broken it. No, it has to close below it. Otherwise, it's just been liquidity grabs. That's it. Just liquidity grabs. And if you don't want to look at it like this, the way I had it for a while now, not on this chart. I know I got the notes in here on a different chart. It might be the Binance chart right here. Yeah, back in the day, I had this on here. It's a very old videos where I show you this and I explain to you that there are no closures below this. You can look at it from you know, a horizontal line instead of the rising trend line. You can look at it like that as well, because let's see, yeah, we'll look at it like that. It's still going to be the same thing right here. You're going to see you got no closures below it, so you don't. It hasn't been broken. Has not been broken. It's still intact. It hasn't actually formed out a bear flag on the weekly time frame. You don't have a bear flag on a weekly time frame. On a weekly time frame right now, we have a double bottom. It's the daily. So without that closure on the daily time frame, you don't have a bear flag. Without a valid breakdown of a bear flag, without that closure on the daily time frame, you drop this to a line chart, you don't have a counter trend on the weekly time frame. We had a counter trend here. We could clearly see it here. Had a counter trend here on the weekly time frame, but we don't have a counter trend on at this area right here. Right now, this would be a double bottom. If you're looking at it from the line perspective, it would just simply be a double bottom, and that's it. And it looks like it could start to put in a fallen wedge through here to finish this off and pump to the upside. So that could be what we're about to do. That could be it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ends in a triangle, and then it breaks up. I think we did that back here too, did we not? Yeah, we did that back here too. How we don't get this counter trend at the end. We had a counter trend right here for sure. We had a counter trend right here. You can see the pivots right there. This was a counter trend. This is not a counter trend. It looks just like right here where it looks like a double bottom right here. Where it looks like a double bottom. So turn my magnet off for a sec. It looks like a double bottom through there, just like it does right here. And we end this in a triangle to the downside. So this is going to be bullish as all get out. We end this. Now I need my magnet. We finish this out with the with something like that. That's what it looks like we're doing. That's what it looks like we could be doing. Now I'm gonna have to wait for another point because it's not going to match up with this. But that could be the case right here, guys. I think that's what we're doing. That's why we're so wrong right now. That's why nobody knows and everybody seems confused. I think we're just putting in a triangle. No counter trend right here. So far, no counter trend. No counter trend. Counter trend is here. Counter trend is here. Ending is here. Ending. Falling wedge. It's gonna be right in here. We're gonna bounce. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Nobody else broke it down like that. Nobody. Nobody but me. I can guarantee you ain't heard it nowhere else, right? Now, a lot of people have done fractals over here, but I wonder how many people actually realize that this isn't a counter trend off the weekly. Anyway, that's enough out of me. It's about to be 9 o'clock. I've overstayed my welcome. I appreciate you for coming. I love you, and I really, 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 really do appreciate you from coming. Let's see, right here from here. Actually, before I go, from here at this low right here to this low right here, 133 days. So however long it takes for us to get down to here, possibly. We'll see how it goes because we don't know. I don't actually know how that would go, but we'll see if we do end up putting in a triangle right here. I mean, that's gonna be my it's gonna be my guess. I don't know if this was a ABC right there, or whatever. I just like to go with what it looks like for me. So I can't do anything about that. But it could very well be. Uh-oh. That's how it goes with that little um pizza pie on the end right there. Well, shall see. We shall see. But it's definitely not a counter trend over here. It's not. Only here. Only here. No closure. I I have to go. I've showed you what I'm looking for. We'll see if it happens, if they want to keep holding it up or whatever. I'm gonna have to put this directly on this line right here. Where else did I say I could put it at? Um, Maybe it comes in a little bit lower into this, but that's going to be over the deviation. That won't really make a lot of sense. I'm going to leave it like this right here. So it could be something like that. It could be that. If I have to, just 382, 50% retracement. Again, that entry right now is 68, 673.40. 45. You can DGN that, or you can see how it reacts. But if the 1 hour is going to hold up, then that's what it would be. 4 hour is starting to look a little trashy. 4 hour is starting to look a little trashy. You see that CME gap? How do I not have this drawn out? It's kind of crazy. Set it like that. quite crazy that I don't. That's 67, 570. That's taking back all of this. So 4 hours gonna have to hold up right here. It's gonna have to. 4 hours gonna have to hold up right here, or that 4 hour is done for. Done, son. Actually, the 1 hour needs to hold up right in here. But if that 4 hour starts to roll over like it's looking like it's gonna do on us, then unless it chops around, it has to hold. It has to hold through here. It has to treat this as support. So it has to. What we're looking at right here, it's all making sense now as I'm thinking about it. That level for where this is might be different over here. Let's see if it's different over here. Put it on 4 hour. Yeah, it's different right here. It's different on this chart right here. Yeah, because it's closed on weekends. So I can't use that. But yeah, what we're talking about, that long entry would be, it would have to hold up if that 4 hour does that. And we would have to see that 4 hour chop, or otherwise that 4 hour is going to roll over. This is it right here. This is what we're talking about right here. Hot diggity dog. All right. Yeah. That is coming. I didn't realize that was coming back to the gap. I honestly didn't say it. I'm sitting up here saying, forget about that CME gap, but I didn't realize that would be coming back into the gap. That is coming back into the gap. Okay. I'm glad I saw that before I left. So yeah, we'd be looking for that gap to not get filled, hold that support and bounce away. Otherwise, 4 hour is done for. 4 hour is done for, and we about to get a new 4 hour candle opening. Yep, in about 3 hours. So I'll post up on X when that happens. I am down to Crypto TA. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much, by Crypto YT. Thank you so much, Salty. You short from 70K. Woo, baby. I mean, it's starting to look better. Getting to 65K is starting to look better looking at this 4 hour time frame. If the 4 hour rolls over, then it's starting to look better. The daily is my concern. But starting to look pretty decent, Salty. I mean, but at least, that's still a nice. If you short from 70, you short from if you short, let's just say you're short from this trend line right here. Let me turn that magnet off. It's still a good return. Let's say you're short from the trend line. That's what I did too. I actually took my short when we tapped into the trend line. I didn't wait for us to hit my actual target on the box up there. I went ahead. I got in my feelings. I get in my feelings when I feel like my analysis is correct, and it's an arrogant thought, an arrogant way of thinking. And I'm not an arrogant person at all. I'm a very humble person. And but I get in my feelings sometimes when I feel like the market is just doing stuff just because it can do it, and it's just not lining up. And so I'll take entries that don't align with my strategy. So I didn't wait for that level to get tapped. And then too many could have straight up rejected from that trend line without wicking above it. It could have just did that. But even that right there, Salty, is a really good risk to reward. That's almost a 3%. Like even that's really, really good. Just coming back into a 67, 860. If we are doing the gap field, that would mean we come back down here to where we got this push up from this momentum right here, where momentum actually kicked in on this time frame right here. So that's an even better risk to reward. And then you're saying 65. So you're looking at price action. I mean, we could still hold up off of this trend line right here. But right now, I'm gonna have to lean for this right here, assuming that well, that red line did rise. Yeah, that red line is here right now. Unless we're chopping, I mean, we would have to be chopping in here. But if RSI is cooling off and it's expecting to hold this trend line right here and not break the momentum, it's not going to be any more than what I was saying. It would be that mean reversion back into that green moving average. Well, it's actually the mean reversion for the RSI. It wouldn't be any more than that. If that's the case, just back into here. That would be it. So maybe we chop on that 4 hour. We could chop. Get that. Good chop. Would be more than that though. If it breaks it, of course, all of this rolls back down. I mean, there's nothing about this that's showing that it was anything more than. I mean, from a standpoint of this, all of these would have to cross up. We haven't had that yet. Um, yeah, we haven't had a full flip at any point in this downtrend. We haven't had a full flip. Never. Even here, no full flip. Nope. Actually, this was a full flip right here, but it was a dead flip. But it did actually flip right there. Uh, and that was the only full flip that yeah, that was the only full flip to the upside of this entire downtrend. I'm surprised it did a full flip right here. But that full flip almost caught the top. That's the only full flip. We don't have a full flip anywhere. Yeah, I'll be looking for that. Excuse me. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Salty. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Love you, and I really do appreciate you for being here. See you in the morning, but I will update on X if anything changes in here right now. It's between here and this right here happening. This would put it inside that gap and fill that gap out right here. So could look, like I said, I was going to keep it below this line right here. But this is supposed to be it if we're going to hold. Sometimes, candles will wick below. So that's what I'm thinking, that I'm hoping that would happen, is just a wick and a reactive bounce away from it, not doing any more than that. Um, and that would be the gap fill. So now we know that. All right. See you in the morning.